Hi everyone. So in this video, we're going to work through another Year 12 Pure Maths question, and this question is from the AS 2018 paper on equations of circles. So we have here the circle C with the equation x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 10y plus 9 equals 0. Part A says find the coordinates of the center of the circle and also find the radius of the circle. But just before we get into the video, I want to make you all aware about a web app that I have created. Now, this app that you see on the screen here is designed to predict the 2027 Edexcel A-level maths topics that will come up in your 2027 exams. So now that the 2026 exams have finished, we now have access to those questions. So what I've done is I've analysed all of the questions from 2026 back to 2018 and also including the sample and the specimen Edexcel papers. And I've used that data to put together a model which will predict the topics for the 2027 exams. And if we just scroll down here, you will see how accurate this model that I'm using is. So if you do want to have access to the full predictions for the 2027 exams and also have access to a web app which will generate mock exam papers based on these predictions, that is what you can get if you do sign up to this app. Just go to the link in the description of this video, and also you can get the link to this web app in my bio. Click that link, sign up. You can see on the top right of the page here, you can sign up. Sign up to the app and you'll be able to access all of these 2027 predictions. Now, if we look at this equation of this circle, it is clearly not written in the form that we like to see with circles. So remember, with circles, we like to see the equation written like this, because when an equation of a circle is written like this, then it's obviously clear what the radius is going to be. It's going to be r, and the center is going to be AB when you have your equation written like this. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to rewrite this equation so that it becomes looking something like that there. And how do we do that? Well, we use completing the square. So we're going to complete the square with the equation, and then we will work towards a form like the form we just discussed a second ago. So what I'm going to do first is just group the x terms together like so. Sorry, this should be a minus 6x there. Group the y terms, y squared plus 10y. And also I'm just going to move over the 9 to the other side. So put the minus 9 there. Now we can complete the square with the x's, and then we'll go on to complete the square with the y's after. With the x's, there'll be an x there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to halve the coefficient of x. So put a minus 3 there. And then we'll take away the constant 3 squared. So take away 9. Then with the y's, we have a y, of course, there. And then half the coefficient of y. So that's a plus 5. Take away 5 squared to take away 25 is equal to minus 9. So then we can add over the 9 to that side. And obviously 9, take away 9 is 0. And then add over the 25. So this leads us to x minus 3 all squared plus y plus 5 all squared is equal to 25. So what would the center for this circle be? Well, the center is going to be 3 and minus 5. So remember, you negate the constants in the brackets to get your center. And then the radius is just going to be the square root of the 25, which would be 5. And that is our answer to part A. Just another quick interjection. If you are currently doing Edexcel A-level maths and you feel that you're struggling or you're falling behind and you're not quite getting that grade that you need to get in order to get into university, or perhaps you're a parent watching this and you're worried about your child's progress, what you can do is you can head to my website. Now, my website is in my bio and also in the description of this video. Click onto the link and you can watch a brief video about me and my background. You see this video on the screen here. In this video, I outline the style and the structure of my tuition. You can also read some of my reviews and testimonials from other parents and students who have worked with me on this website too. So if you feel like one-to-one tuition is something that would benefit you in order to get the grades that you need to get, then again, just head to this website, And what you can do is you can book a free 90-minute call with me. And in that call, we'll spend some time discussing you, your situation, your ambitions, what you want to achieve, the grade you want to get, and why you feel like you're struggling and why you feel like maybe tuition is the right path for you. And we'll also spend some time basically doing a free trial lesson where I will help you out for free with any particular topics or any particular areas of the syllabus that you know you need help with. And by the end of the call, we can then discuss whether one-to-one tuition is the right path for you to get you that grade you need to get. So once again, the link to my website is in the bio and in the description of this video. Perfect. Now let's go to part B. So part B says the line with the equation y equals kx, where k is a constant, cuts the circle at two distinct points. Find the range of values for k. Now, there are a couple of ways we could go about this, but what I'm going to do with this question is just imagine it like a points of intersection question, if that makes sense. You got some kind of random circle there. It's not a very good circle, but oh well. And then you've got this line, and we need this line to cut through the circle at 2 points. So of course, a line could cut through a circle at 1 point like that there, or it may not cut through a circle at all. We're looking for 2 points of intersection. So one method or one way we could go about this is just to literally sub in this equation into the circle, okay? Because when you sub in y equals something into an equation, into another equation, then that allows you to find points of intersection. So let's just do that. It just makes logical sense to do that. So what we'll do is we'll sub y equals kx into the circle. So the equation of the circle was x squared, and then it was a minus 6. Yeah, I'm going to use this line here. So it was a minus 6x, and then it was plus a y squared. Now we're going to sub in kx instead of y squared, or kx instead of y into that. And then the next term is a 10y, so 10 times kx, so plus 10 times kx. And then there's a minus 9 over here on the right side. I'll just bring that back to the left side. So this becomes a plus 9 equal to 0. Perfect. So if we just simplify all of this, we've got x squared minus 6x plus k squared x squared, and then plus 10kx plus 9 is equal to 0. Now what I'm going to do is notice or realize that if we look at the first term and the third term, we can group those together and say this is 1 plus k squared x squared, like so. We can then group the x terms together as well. So we have plus 10k minus 6, lots of x when you factorize out that x. And then, of course, there is a 9 at the end there, 2 equal to 0. Now, this is, of course, a quadratic. That's a quadratic equation. And how many solutions do we need? So again, let's just read the question again. We need there to be 2 points of intersection between the line and the circle. So therefore, there have to be 2 distinct solutions. So we need, for this quadratic, 2 real solutions, okay? How do you guarantee that a quadratic equation has 2 real solutions? Well, you use the discriminant, okay? So we're going to use the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac. And remember, for 2 real solutions, you need the discriminant to be greater than 0. So what would a be with this quadratic? Well, a would be the coefficient of x squared, so 1 plus k squared. B would be the coefficient of x, so 10k minus 6, and C would be the 9, the constant at the end there. Now let's sub into our discriminant. So we need b squared, which is 10k minus 6, and then squared, minus 4 times a, 1 plus k squared, and then times by 9, which is c. Again, we need that to be bigger than 0. Now let's just go ahead and expand the brackets. So you've got here 10k times 10k. That will give you 100k squared. You've then got 10k times minus 6, and then another 10k times minus 6. So you're going to have here minus 120k. And then minus 6 times minus 6 is a positive 36. Now with this last term, I'm just going to do 4 times 9, so minus 36 times 1 plus k squared greater than 0. So when you expand the brackets there, of course, you will get a 36 and, well, a minus 36 and a minus 36k squared. So 100k squared minus 120k plus 36 minus 36. Let's make that look like a 6 there. And then minus 36k squared is greater than 0. Now, of course, the 36 there can just disappear, the two 36s. And then you've got 100k squared minus 36k squared. So that will give you 64k squared, and then minus 120k is greater than 0 as our inequality. Now, I know that the number 8 goes into both of those coefficients, 64 and 120. So 64 divided by 8 would give me 8. I'm just going to divide the inequality by 8 here, like so. So yeah, you get an 8k squared there, and then 120 divided by 8 is 15. Okay, so we've got minus 15k there is greater than 0. So what we can do now is just factorize the quadratic inequality. So factorize out the k, and then we have 8k minus 15 is greater than 0. So of course, this is a quadratic inequality, and the best way I think to solve quadratic inequalities is just to do a little sketch. Let's put k on the x-axis and y up there. So what would the roots be for this quadratic? Well, if it was k times 8k minus 15 equal to 0, you would have k equals 0 as one root, and you would have k equals 15 over 8 as another root. So let's just put 15 over 8 there. Now, this quadratic is a U-shape. Why is it a U-shape? Well, it's because the coefficient of x squared, in this case 8, is greater than 0. So it's a positive U-shaped quadratic. Now, what do we need? We need the quadratic to be greater than 0. So where are the y values greater than 0 on that curve? Well, they're greater than 0 when k is less than 0, just by looking at the sketch, and also when k is greater than 15 over 8. So therefore, our answer to the question is literally that. So our answer is that k is less than 0, or k is greater than 15 over 8. Because if that's true, if either of those situations are true, then it means that this quadratic has two real solutions. And if the quadratic has two real solutions, then that means there are two distinct points of intersection, like this kind of situation there. Now, I'm just going to scroll back up. Did we need the answer in set notation? No. Just be aware, sometimes with questions like this, they may ask for a solution in set notation. Now, if you're not sure about set notation and you're not sure how you would write that answer there in set notation, just comment below and I will help you out if you do need any assistance with that. And also, if you do need any help or you don't understand anything else we've gone through in this video, also do drop a comment below. But hopefully, pretty much everything there does make sense.